Before we get into today's program, there's an important opportunity I want to share with you over these next couple of minutes. The semi-annual Big 5 Lab Bundle sale happening now through next Sunday. Taking control of your health has never been easier, and saving $1,000 in this huge semi-annual event for the Big 5 Functional Medicine Lab Bundle is a win-win. These are the exact top 5 lab tests I recommend to every new wellness client in our integrative health practice that are ready to stop the guessing and finally take a comprehensive deep dive into their overall health and well-being. Each of these labs offers a unique perspective of assessing the body and how certain underlying imbalances may be holding you back from achieving your optimal level of health and vitality. By running the Big 5 Functional Medicine lab tests, you will have the ability to actually discover what your deficiencies and toxicities are. And from there, you can then build your body back up while ridding it of toxins that are stealing your energy and performance and having you feeling less than your best. The Big 5 consists of the Minerals and Metals test, the complete Candida Metabolic and Vitamins test, the IgG Food Sensitivity test, the Omega-3 and Inflammation test, and the complete Stress, Mood, and Metabolism test. Each of these state-of-the-art labs were specifically chosen for ease of use. That means I can mail these labs directly to you and they can be completed by you right at home. And that translates to better compliance, faster results, and happier, healthier clients. Plus, included in this big money-saving package, you'll receive a coaching call with a certified integrative health practitioner to review your lab results. This is the time of year that I personally run my own Big 5 labs to stay on track with my energy and performance. It's time to stop guessing and finally take back control of your health and body. This opportunity for big savings on the Big 5 won't happen again until next year, so get started with the link in the show notes before the offer expires. Now enjoy the show. Waiting till you experience burnout to take action is not the approach savvy entrepreneurs take to be top performers. On this episode, you're going to discover just how easy it can be to monitor the onset of burnout even when you feel you have all-day energy, and most importantly, we're going to cover how to stop and reverse the boundary of burnout. Hello, I'm Jeffrey Mort. If you're like most entrepreneurs, you're busy taking care of business, yet who's taking care of you? As a certified integrative health practitioner and consulting hypnotist, I'm widely considered a leader for naturally improving energy and performance, as I've coached world-renowned entrepreneurs and athletes to higher performance health and unstoppable confidence. Here you'll find no wasted time as we distill my unique blend of functional medicine, ancient wisdom, and subconscious reprogramming into actionable steps to create ultra-healthy and laser-focused super achievers. If you're ready to take your energy and performance to the next level in your life and your business, then this podcast is for you. Because today, you're going to start breaking boundaries of your mind, body, and business with integrative health. And when you do that, your possibilities are limitless. I'm grateful you're here. Welcome to episode 8 of the Breaking Boundaries podcast for entrepreneurs. Naturally, you want to stay till the end when we bring it all together on how to avoid failure and reach your next level of success. And for all of the show notes and links, visit jeffreymort.com and click on the podcast link. So entrepreneurs, I know that you're concerned about your health, you're concerned about your energy, you're concerned about your performance in your roles in life and in your precious business that supports your life and your family and everything else. And when burnout pays you an unexpected visit, it sets you back. It forces you to take action, and it makes you reevaluate your everyday choices. It would be amazing if there were a way to know when this was coming on so that you could course correct, would it not? Well, you may not have realized it, but there's a simple test that you can do in the privacy of your own home, get the data, and take control of your own health. And I'm going to show you how it works right now. And for those of you listening to this podcast, I'm going to describe this as best I can. And for those of you watching on video, you actually get to see some amazing data about what we have going on here today. So this is, there we go. This is real life recording. This is a lab that we use. This is a functional medicine lab done right in the privacy of your own home. And this is what the lab results look like. Now, it may not look like much to you, those of you watching here, but as a trained integrative health practitioner, this tells me a really great story of what may be going on with the body. There's actually, I was going to say there's three stages of burnout, but there's actually seven stages. We're just going to narrow that down to just three stages today. And first stage is the alarm stage, as you can see here on the screen. And the alarm stage, like I said, has the overall burnout process has seven stages. So there's three initial points to the first alarm stage, which would be initial alarm, ongoing alarm, and chronic alarm. But for today, we're just going to call this alarm stage. And this happens to be a lab, a case study. We've redacted, client confidentiality is one of our highest values in our private wellness practice. But this client here happened to be a 33-year-old female, is what this case study is. And she came in feeling overwhelmed, feeling anxious, poor mood, irritable, wakes up through the night, low tolerance to exercise, craving sweets, not really any bloating, but bowel movements were irregular menstrual cycles between 24, 31 days, so really wonky. And her main goal, she wants to decrease stress, improve energy, and fix sleep. And you can see on our screen here, for those of you listening, I'll describe, there's a page, and we're looking at these first four columns here. And these first four columns are levels representing your main electrolytes, your calcium, your magnesium, your sodium, and your potassium. And those are the four main electrolytes. Now, I'll describe this as best as I can. There's a blue wave going across the middle of the page, and that's the ideal range for each one of these levels. All four of these columns are beyond max. They're off the charts, so to speak, here. And the first one is calcium. We're looking at a level of 5x of the normal range of calcium. The second column of magnesium, that's also 5 times the magnesium. Sodium is 8 times the sodium that we want to see as a normal range. And the last one there is well off the charts as well. These, you might be thinking, well, Jeff, this person has enough of these electrolytes because they are off the charts. And that's not how this lab works. This lab shows us what has been utilized by the body, what's been excreted by the body. And I'll explain in a minute how that works. This is more of what's been used rather than what's in storage and what is available for the person to utilize. At the bottom of this lab, there are ratios that actually look surprisingly good and surprisingly close because everything is elevated. Everything is off the charts. And that's what we'll have here. We're not going to cover too much of this other information on this lab. We're also looking at heavy metal toxicities and trace minerals and those ratios. But right now, we're really looking at this. And what this is, the person is feeling really, really good. This is the first stage of burnout. They really don't feel any different, maybe a little bit of fatigue. Their energy is a little bit low, but this is the first stage. So this is what this lab tells us. This is a really good indicator that we are in the very first stage of burnout, and this is the onset of burnout. Although the client may or may not feel those symptoms, not a major impact in their life just yet. But when we get into this next stage, you can see here if you're watching on video, this is the second stage or resistant stage. And there's also 3 parts to the resistant stage, but for now we're just going to say it's all one part. And you can see that the first 2 columns of calcium and magnesium, the 2 main electrolytes, something I want to point out about calcium and magnesium on this lab is that they are a good indicator of the level of stress that the body is under. So the stress level that the body is under are these first 2 columns. And the second 2 columns here is the body's response to stress. That's why this lab is excellent for looking at burnout, especially for entrepreneurs. And this is what we call a too high and too low pattern. So the first 2 are high, and the second two are low. So high calcium, high magnesium. There's a high calcium to magnesium ratio. We have lower sodium to potassium, but they're balanced. They're lower than that blue wave that I spoke about, but they are not in the ideal range. So we know that this person's body is no longer responding to stress the way that it used to. We're not going to go too much into the other minerals because we're really focusing on burnout here, but the rest of this lab gives me some really great insight on this particular client here. Now, this is a different case study than the first person, but I at least wanted to take you through the journey of what burnout looks like going through the different stages. And this could certainly be, the same person. This one here happens to be a 38-year-old female who's an entrepreneur, fired up, lots of energy. They still have good energy, but they can't slow down. They just can't slow down. Eating a predominantly plant-based diet, they maintain a healthy goal of weight. They don't deviate much from their diet. Overall, they feel great. But when I speak with them, I can hear the anxious energy in their voice. So anxiety is starting to set in here, and that's getting into the resistance stage of burnout, or stage 2 of burnout. So main goal of this client, they wanted to optimize all of their health levels and look to see if there are cortisol imbalances, which is another great way to look at burnout. And that's a different test that we can do. But on a side note, so we talked about the too high and too low pattern. So the first two columns are high, that's calcium and magnesium, and the second two columns are low, that's sodium and potassium, and that's known as a step down pattern. And some symptoms that are synonymous with the step down pattern are higher energy, yet they are tired and wired. They are like wired, they want to go, but they're tired and they just keep pushing through. And that is sympathetic nervous system dominance right there. They're running off of all of that anxious energy, but they might not feel so anxious. They just feel driven, but they're exhausted. They're getting exhausted. Their mind is still on high alert, but the body is starting to show signs of no longer keeping up. So their body can't do what their mind is telling them to do. I don't know if anybody listening or watching can relate to that, but that is very common in the entrepreneurial world. Tired, but may not be able to wind down at night. So on the contrary, we have what's called the step up pattern, which is too low of the first two, which is calcium and magnesium, and then the next two of sodium and potassium are high, and that's known as a step up pattern, which you can't see here on video because I didn't present that one here today, but I'm just speaking about it. And that's a weakened sympathetic nervous system. That's when the body starts getting catabolic, which means the body starts to deteriorate. It's starting to use its own storage to survive and move forward with life as a bioorganism. And typically, the person feels exhausted, but stressed and anxious. They're catabolic, like I mentioned. They feel like they're aging at a rapid rate, no ambition whatsoever. They may be able to fall asleep at any point during the day, but then at night they can't sleep. That means their body's breaking down, and eventually the stress response will diminish and they will go into what's known as next, the exhaustion stage of burnout. This is actually burnt out. And as you can see, if you're watching on video, that those first four columns are well below the ideal range for the first four minerals that we're looking for in the body. I mean, remember, your body is built out of minerals. It's built out of vitamins. It's built out of from components from the earth and minerals. Minerals are what give you a spark for life. So this happens to be a 37-year-old male, stressed, angry, overwhelmed, irritable, apathetic, no ambition, low libido, can't fall asleep, no energy. They have brain fog, they have bloating, they have gas, they have looser stool, they have poor eating habits, they're losing muscle tone. They don't exercise anymore. They have no energy or interest in exercising, and they just want to fix everything. They want to fix everything. So this, my friends, is what burnout actually looks like. So we just went through those three stages of the onset of burnout when things are feeling great, the next stage of burnout when things are not feeling so great, but you still have this high energy and you're driven and you're driving yourself to this final exhaustion stage of burnout. So that's what it looks like. What's the plan? What do you do? What do you do to avoid burnout? The simple answer is to take this simple test. This is a minerals and metals test. It's also known as the hair tissue mineral analysis, and that might give away on how you actually take this lab. It's very, very simple. It uses a very small sample of hair, the first maybe 3/4 of an inch of hair that comes out of the head. So from the scalp, about 3/4 of an inch out. You can take it right from the back of the neck, where it's hidden if you have longer hair in the back. And you put this simple hair sample on a scale to make sure you have enough. The kit comes with a scale. And then you put that hair in an envelope, fill out the information, or register your lab online. You put that in the mail, regular US mail with a stamp. It goes to the lab. They burn the hair. They analyze the carbon, and then they produce this data in the sheet that we just looked at or went over today. And then the practitioner gets this information, and then what we can do is we can recommend adjustments going through the de-stress protocol. And I know we're only on episode 8 here of the Breaking Boundaries podcast. A little spoiler alert: we're going to cover each of the 8 points of the de-stress protocol coming up in some future episodes very, very soon. But the de-stress protocol are lifestyle adjustments that you can make to adjust your lifestyle so that you can avoid burnout. You can actually reverse burnout if you're there. You can stop burnout if you're approaching, and you can avoid burnout if you're not there yet. And then you can feel the difference, and you can retest to stay on track. I recommend retesting. If you're experiencing burnout, you might want to retest every 6 months. If you're not experiencing burnout, you're feeling really good, this is a good lab to do at least once a year. I prefer doing my labs on my birthday every year. That way I don't forget. And, good health and a checkup for myself is my own birthday present for myself every single year. And that's coming up soon. So you might be wondering where to get started. You can get started with your local naturopathic doctor. You can get started with a integrative health practitioner level 2. You can find them at ihp.org. We'll link that up in the show notes, and there's a practitioner directory over there, and you can actually find myself in that directory, or you can go directly to our private wellness practice, which is loveenergywellness.com. And what we can do for you over there is actually get you 55% off of this minerals and metals lab. You also have the option of using your HSA or FSA card if you happen to have one of those. And you can get your bio-individualized wellness plan with specific clinically backed functional medicine protocols to rebalance the body. You can get that with myself at loveenergywellness.com, or you can get that with any level 2 integrative health practitioner. I'm not sure that you can get that bio-individualized wellness plan with a local naturopathic doctor, so there's the advantage of working with an integrative health practitioner like myself. So I'm here, my friends, to help you avoid failure, help you avoid the setbacks of burnout, so you don't have to go through that recovery time. You don't have to have those impacts on your life or your family or your business. And I want you to be able to share your success story with me, with your friends, with your clients. And additionally, we talked about the imbalances of minerals and what that can do and how that can lead to burnout. But additionally, with the minerals and metals lab, part of this lab that we didn't cover is the metals part. We'll talk about that in a minute, but imagine discovering the root causes of high blood pressure or even low blood pressure. In fatigue, we talked about that, and burnout. But things like lightheadedness or dizziness, skin discolorations, nail discolorations like white spots on your nails, sweating, either increased or decreased, difficulty breathing, if you have heart arrhythmia or palpitations, low mood or apathy like we talked about in burnout, headaches, which we didn't address, but digestive issues and learning issues, which is very, very common. This test can not just for adults and entrepreneurs, but also for children as well. Children with learning issues, adults or children with allergies or asthma, chronic inflammation, and that's all from mineral imbalances. We talked a little bit about this being a minerals and metals test. Well, things like headaches, joint pain, skin inflammation, especially like a red rash, or skin pigmentation abnormalities, which, most conventional medicine doctors say there's nothing you can do, or they'll prescribe a steroid or something. Tingling in the extremities, either the fingers or hands or feet, nausea, vomiting, sweating, especially specifically increased sweating. Difficulty breathing, heart arrhythmia and palpitations, chronic inflammation, and autoimmune issues are all signs of heavy metal toxicity, which this lab shows us. And that is a topic for another Breaking Boundaries episode. So, your 3 key takeaways to wrap things up today. Functional medicine labs are a powerful tool to help avoid burnout well before it begins. And the Minerals and Metals Lab can finally put a stop to the guessing. How many times have you guessed at what was going on? Or the doctor said, well, we don't know. Let's try this, or let's try that. Or here's a new medication that has all these side effects. Be careful. And, what would it be like to discover exactly why you feel the way you do? And third is a bio-individualized wellness plan. This is a wellness plan that is individualized for your specific biology and what's going on with you that can empower you to take control of your health. How nice is that? So with that, my friends, this is a whole lot of information. I'm going to wrap it up here, and I'm grateful for you joining us on episode 8 of the Breaking Boundaries podcast. Please share and leave a review so that we can help more people. And I will see you next time to help you breaking more boundaries. Bye-bye, everybody. Before we say goodbye, you may not have realized it, but you can get free daily access to our thriving Love Energy Wellness community and support group where you'll join health-conscious entrepreneurs just like you. I know you're concerned about your health, energy, and performance. That's why I personally answer your questions daily, invite you to our weekly live calls, and share pro wellness tips for energy and performance and exclusive offers just for our community members. This is also your support hub when we gather every 90 days for a total body and mind reset, also known as the world-renowned Dr. Cabral Functional Medicine Detox Protocol. You're going to love the way you feel every time. So if you're the kind of entrepreneur that values your health as your greatest asset, naturally you'll want to join and invite your friends, your family, and your colleagues to our community where you'll feel loved, supported, seen, and heard. Visit loveenergywellness.com to join the community, or the link is also right here in today's show notes. I'll see you soon.